Okay.
Oh, the fuck? The judges are here? I didn't even see him walk in.
This case is an interesting matter, with a lot of
Hey,
stakes.
boss.
Yes?
Sorry to be rude. Can I just ask you something
Sure.
off the record? It's
Sure.
a bit long, but it's a pretty simple question. I do want to ask it if that's okay.
Is it something that can wait until after our verdict? I'd love to speak to you, sir. No issue.
It won't take long actually at all.
All right, yeah,
But
come.
I think it's
Okay,
so
come on up.
listen, me and you,
Hmm.
Mr. Adams, okay? Say we both live in those apartments over there at what is it? New Viceroy.
Yeah, yeah, over there,
Oh God,
little
he's ready
soul.
for
Yep.
me and you, we're homies. You look like a good guy, honestly, and I'd probably drink beers with you. And we get to the point, right, where we're drinking beers because we live next to each other in each other's apartments. Then the manager comes down and says, "Listen, guys, I've been authorized to run this place. I'm gonna have to ask you both to leave because we can't afford to run this place no more. So we'll let you know if anything opens up." So we got to leave, right? And you come back later, and they give you a letter, and it says, "Hey, come here. You can have your old apartment back. We've done it up a little bit. Seems to be working pretty good. If there's any issues, let us know." Do you reckon you'd have permission to walk into my old apartment right next to you?
No.
Mm. So, what about this? You walk up to the manager and you say, "Hey, listen, pal, I think the toilet's blocked. You mind if I just take a shit in the toilet next door? I used to go in there. I know my way around." He says, "Yeah, I'll authorize that. I'll give you a key, and if anything happens, I'll have it written here on the table." Uh, would you be able to go in there and take a shit now?
Well, the manager of the property is given a key and given implicit permission to do so.
Mm,
Uh, yes, if he's the owner of the property, then yeah, why not?
okay. Well, what if your name was Los Santos, my name was Blaine County, the mayor was the fucking manager, and the state was the people that authorized the manager? Would you go shit in Blaine County without having no fucking permission slip, sir?
Well, luckily, that's a subject I'm going to address in this verdict in exhaustive detail, sir.
Okay, fantastic.
Absolutely. Now, as I was saying, this case is an interesting matter, with a lot of stakes riding on it that, in both Judge Angel and my opinion, will hopefully work in at least a foundational sense. As to not only how we interpret the laws of our land, but will potentially shape them in the days to come. With this, we have reached a verdict in this matter. Now, uh, Mr. Soze, there were a number of arguments given by yourself. I'm going to start with joyriding here. Given pertaining to the charge of joyriding. You spoke to me and you spoke to Sheriff Bones over there about the definition of joyriding. And you also affirmed and brought forward arguments about spirit of the law and
Oh,
what you were
actually,
intending to do with the vehicle.
sorry to interrupt, sir. Did these guys inform you that Siobhan's no longer currently holding a badge as a police officer? One
I
that
was
wrote all the PC for these charges? That wasn't here to be a witness?
I was not informed of that, but that would have no influence on this matter.
Mm,
Just because a
okay.
police officer is fired doesn't call all of their prior work into question.
Yes, that's true. Especially when I start asking about the legislation on top of it and build the case. You're right, sir.
Don't worry. Again, we'll be discussing the legislation in full. No worries. Got a lot to say here, and I'd love to speak to you afterwards. Now, the court understands your arguments, Mr. Soze, pertaining to joyriding, especially that your actions were in good spirit, and that you were attempting to bring the vehicle to a safe location. By letter of the law, however, we do find that the vehicle was driven without permission, and while prosecutorial discretion could have been exercised by either Sheriff Bones or the individual pressing the charges, In this instance, it was not. By definition and by letter, you drove a vehicle without permission, without the intent to deprive the owner permanently of the vehicle. You will be found guilty of joyriding in this instance. Now, it was further stated that you resisted arrest while you were at the sheriff's office. Sheriff Bones stated that you were tackled and attempted to be handcuffed at one point, which you resisted. You you wiggled your way out of those handcuffs. No counter was brought to this version of events. So therefore, Judge Angel and I will be finding you guilty of resisting arrest. Now, with regards to the 3 counts of attempted murder of a government employee, in the situation here that has been outlined, officers, based on what we've established here, had probable cause to detain you for arrest. Those same officers exercised patience, drawing their firearms, and even allowed you to brandish a Class 2 firearm inside of the sheriff's office. Those officers did not open fire until you raised the weapon at them, which is a reasonable act. At which point, you returned fire at 3 confirmed officers, Declan Crane, Jeffrey Bones, and Loki Sky Lizard. In no way can this be articulated as a legal way to stand your ground. Therefore, you will be found guilty of 3 times attempted murder of a government employee. Now, I think you'll find this one interesting. We want to turn our attention to the current charge.
I'm sure I will not.
I'm sure you will.
Very well understood, considering your stance with the terrorism charges and your phone calls with Mr. Chavon just before they were put away, and your bias to Mr. K himself shown in private messages, sir. You are an asshole and not understanding of the law. You're a piece of shit, and you have no due process. It's on Twitter, motherfucker. Go look at it.
I looked at it. Don't worry. This is a very, very benign, and you know, if you're inferring that you had some involvement in that, that's fine.
When Aziz fucking dies and you all watch what happened, the spirit is fucking dead. Yeah.
Well, the spirit's not dead, Mr. Soze, because if you'll allow me to continue, sir.
You've already said it, asshole.
I've not said it, sir.
The word of the law matters in the penal code, but not the constitution or the legislation. You, sir, are a fucking lying asshole. You're a hypocrite.
Well, that's your opinion, sir. Now I'm going to go ahead and return to my verdict at this time.
Asshole.
No, that is your opinion, sir. That being said, Mr. Soze, turning your attention to the criminal possession of firearm class 2 charge, sir, you've raised a valid point, and you are correct. This is an interesting charge in and of itself. The charge is written out as, quote, to possess an illegal Class 2 firearm without a license. Class 2 firearm is defined as any shotgun or automatic firearm.
I don't believe that was even mentioned in this case, sir.
No, sir, but it is the letter of the law that you're so stuck on here at this point.
You just said I'd done it or said it, that's all.
I'll go ahead and continue. This is interesting because the court takes note that you do have a valid weapons license, sir. That weapons license was issued by a judge, and that the standing legislation titled Weapons License Guidelines, published on March 4th, 2024, does not specifically note what constitutes a legal firearm. Now, on that very specific note, Mr. Soze, Judge Angel and I are unable to make the determination as to whether that specific firearm is in fact illegal. We don't know where it was issued. We don't know how it was registered. By definition, it's illegal to have a, quote, illegal Class 2 firearm. But there is no definition standing as to what a legal or illegal Class 2 firearm is. So, you will be found not guilty of that charge, with a firm recommendation from the department that this legislation is reviewed. But it should be clearly stipulated that the weapon was in fact used in a violent crime and is not to be returned. And as you've been convicted of a violent felony, your weapons license is to be removed. Now, lastly, we are going to go on and move on to treason. There are a lot of compelling arguments pertaining to jurisdiction, the state, Los Santos, Blaine County, and others. With regards to jurisdiction, Judge Angel and I have taken note of the following. Mr. Soze, you are once again correct in pointing out the 2 legislative authorities in the state, the City Council and the Department of Justice.
From the state.
We do take note that the City Council then passed a piece of legislation entitled the PCP 2.0, which carries the, quote, following important remarks that I will read back to you for your reference. Quote, this document establishes the fact that the law enforcement departments of Los Santos will now answer to the mayor's office, with solely the mayor acting in this capacity on behalf of the state. Quote, moving forward, the mayor's office will act as an immediate superior to the law enforcement departments of Los Santos on all matters in order to ensure that the power the law enforcement departments of Los Santos wields is not misused in any flagrantly uncorrectable way. This document assures and reiterates as well state supremacy on matters of the law enforcement departments of Los Santos, with the state acting as the ultimate arbiter of decision making, should the avenues that the mayor's office wishes to pursue prove to be themselves problematic insofar as the future of the stability of the island at large is concerned. This legislation in question also allows for the following, quote, the formation of other law enforcement departments as the need arises in other regions of Los Santos beyond the city. Coverage is important. In that writing, it is implicitly established that prior to this document's publication on May 10th, 2024, the one department that did exist, the LSPD, maintained jurisdiction over those regions. Further recognizes that, albeit while not clearly defining, those regions do in fact exist.
Clearly defined? Okay, sure. Sometimes they are, right? I get it. Keep going, pal.
Oh, don't worry, I will. I have not finished yet, so I got plenty more to say. I'm in a delusion.
Yes. I mean, there's a reason there's a lot of people standing behind me and not these pieces of shit over here because they all see you as a fuckwit and a traitor.
We can gag him if you like.
Adams is known to be a...
No, that's okay. He's got the right to free speech just like everybody else, and we don't want to, take that away from him.
You've taken it from me multiple times. I wrote on a wall that I was an overseer, and apparently that is against the state.
Have I found you guilty of treason yet, Mr. Soze?
No, but I did get tried last week by the same idiots that talked to Siobhan on the phone.
Interesting.
I hope she dies, by the way. I hope she don't make it out of ICU.
Why don't you try
That'll
to
be
get
better
a
for the
reaction out of
state.
me, Judge? Come on, get a reaction out of me.
I don't need a reaction from you, Mr. K. That said, therein, Judge Angel and I find that the state's intention is clear. For law enforcement to maintain jurisdiction over the entirety of the island, whether that be in the city itself or outside. And as a result, this will now bring us back to the core tenets of Mr. Soze's arguments. Mr. Soze, it was...
confirm on that one, is a legislation now of the state? Is that what you're saying?
I directly read quotes to you from the PCP 2.0, sir.
Right, which is not of state authority. Okay.
Yeah, I again point to the direct quote that says...
Hey, listen, if you're from United States from America, so be it, pal.
Assuring and reiterating state supremacy, but I digress. Mr. Soze, it was testified that you admitted to writing the words on the outside of the police station. You've just said it yourself before me as well. Words that read as follows. Kael Soze owns this. Signed, State Officer Kael Soze. Nobody can make laws. We own Polito in the north. Can change anything he wants when he wants, etc. This writing is in evidence and is attested to in that interrogation. The following actions are then factually known to have occurred. You received a call from Bobby Charles, and the court acknowledges that the details of that conversation are unclear. Mr. Charles could not testify to them, and you made no statement to them yourself. We do see a response in text that reads, quote, I'm in Sandy, that occurred about 6 minutes later. Then, there was another call from Bobby Charles that we once again agree with you, sir. Do not know the contents of the phone call. We cannot speak to them. The only thing that comes after that is a quotation that reads, quote, planning my attack now, don't worry, are you dead? In text message from Bobby to yourself. Again, we do not know the content of those phone calls. The only thing we have to turn to is Mr. Charles's direct testimony here in this courtroom today, where he stated that he was, quote, looking to fight back against individuals who wrongly shot Kael Soze. This, in the court's eyes, finishes the story. Mr. Soze cited rebellion against the authority established in Blaine County, as outlined through the PCP. clearly labeled his intentions through writings on the wall of the sheriff's office, and then engaged in violent behavior when he raised a weapon to officers on the inside of the building. While this may be a failed attempt at insurrection or rebellion, it by very definition rises to the legal definition of treason. Now that said, we understand where this comes from, and the background that you, Mr. Soze, bring to this matter. I see the uniform you're wearing. I understand where you've come from.
Stupid. The letter
Nope.
of the law. I cannot believe you guys. The spirit of the law when you want it to be, but when it's the letter of the law, it ain't. You are unbelievably fucking pathetic as a human being.
Have I finished, sir?
You are a cow. I don't give a fuck if you finish or not. The way you try to sway that legislation, which is under the Constitution is of the state. Anything under it is from the authority of the state. It isn't the state. It's from the authority of the state. You fucking Neanderthal. So when you mention any sort of state fucking thing or entity inside that, it is irrelevant. The mayor is not the state. A mayor of the state? Are you fucking stupid? You are the dumbest motherfucker. No, fuck this guy and fuck you. I hope you put me in jail. I want to go to jail because these people are going to hate you more.
You hope you go to jail.
Letter of the fucking law. You're a fucking asshole. I don't give a fuck if I don't go to jail. You're still an asshole. You're missing the point.
I'm missing the point.
Amen. You are an asshole.
I'm an asshole and I'm missing the point. Right.
Fucking asshole.
Now, as I was stating, I understand where this comes from and the background that Mr. Soze brings to this matter. Now, we're not looking at sanguinian levels of insurrection and rebellion by any means. We are looking actually at the ideals of a man who has fallen from powers bestowed upon him in a failed government from past years. The courts, while we will be finding you guilty, Kael, will not be entertaining anything near to the full 7 years requested by the prosecution. Instead, we'll be referring you as follows. It'll be a sentence of a total of 4 years in prison, with credit for 3 served, with 4 years parole beyond. While you are on parole, court will be ordering that you seek psychiatric evaluation in order to affirm fitness to return as a working member of our society. The totality of the fine will be $125,000, $100,000 for the crimes you committed, plus $25,000 in contempt for your actions and flagrant words on the docket.
This man just authorized anybody to get a citation in Los Santos or elsewhere to be going against the laws of the state, my friends. You guys are fucking stupid.
This hearing is adjourned, sir.
Fuck you, asshole!
Your mom's a bitch!
So, where's the jurisdiction end?
The totality of the island, sir, as clearly stated in the legislation.
Okay, so the totality of the island. So when you guys go arrest people in boats, now what are you been doing, motherfucker? What's your excuse there, bitch?
What is my excuse?
That's what I thought. You're gonna fucking run circles around it, because that water ain't no island, sir. There's a lake up there where people are fishing and getting charged for shit too. You are a fucking rat, and I know you gotta fucking worm your way out of that one too with the spirit of the law bullshit. Word of the law, my fucking eyes.
Well, you're interchanging word and spirit an awful lot here, Mr. Soze.
You're a fucking liar.
You're interchanging the words a lot here between word and letter and spirit.
Body of water? No. An island is surrounded by water, moron.
Yes, it is, sir.
Anarchy! You're unbelievable.
No, don't be ridiculous.
You're insanely, you're ashamed to not only the state of San Andreas, which apparently is now Los Santos County, you're just ashamed to the United States of America. Allowing violations of due process, prosecutors over here that are failing in the Constitution aren't even police officers to write these guys PCs and charges and allow that in evidence of a court of law, and they're not here to be answered to. You are ridiculous.
And okay? Why aren't they here to be answered to, Mr. Soze? Why aren't they here to be answered to? I asked the question, sir.
I see you, and they're no longer a police officer, apparently.
Yeah, well,
apparently you also know this. If that's the insinuation you're asking to right now, would you let it happen? You are a coward. Go ahead and put me in jail, but I'm glad that people see what pieces of shit you are. When you guys keep getting shut up in courtrooms or whatever the fuck happens, and they are quote unquote terrorists, just remember it's because the word of the law only matters when it's your shitty penal code to put someone in jail that opposes it. And the spirit of the law only matters when you want to swindle and lie to these people and imply a mayor is the state because the state gave him some form of power. If we all get power from the federal government, you stupid bitch, that doesn't mean we're all feds.
True.
Holy fuck, you're stupid.
Amen.
Put me in jail.
All right, Soze.
Motherfucker.
Hands behind your back. Cuffs going on you.
Couldn't even handle the
A
analogy.
hero. A
Fucking
hero.
moron.
A hero right there.
We're all feds, guys. Congratulations. You're all power of the Fed. Good job, guys. Get out there. We're also
All right.
treasonous, though, so be careful.
Bite his
All right.
fucking head off. Let him fucking go.
Come on, let's go.
You
I'm not
fucking
going to kill
animals.
Soze right
Make
now.
him walk out like a man, slacks, huh?
Come
Just
on.
clarifying,
I'm giving it to you
pretty
to walk
much
through the goddamn